Welcome, friends, to the Ancient Arts Podcast. Join us now as we rediscover healing methods from long, long ago. Reconstituted for today's modern world. From India to Japan, from South America to Egypt. Let's take a trip around the globe and find simple answers to today's complex health issues. The commentators are not medical doctors, and no medical claims are being stated. The comments made have not been evaluated by Health Canada or the FDA and are not intended to diagnose, cure, treat, or prevent any disease. So pull up your favorite cushion, pour yourself a cup of your favorite herbal tea, and get ready to go back in time. Time to rediscover the mystery and the magic of the ancient arts. Welcome, friends. Welcome back to Ancient Arts. I'm your Ancient Arts guru, Brian Gangle from bgangel.com. If you're new to Ancient Arts, welcome aboard. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so that you can be the first on the block to get this great information all about the Ancient Arts. And today, we have an amazing episode as we're going to talk about sunbathing. And we're going to learn a lot of things that we didn't know before about this incredible ancient art technique. But before we dive into today's episode, let me tell you a little bit about some of our live events coming spring for 2020. First, it's our Life Frequency Health Lecture Series taking place on Tuesday nights in the month of March, with a start time at 7:30. 5 evening classes with a focus in on the understanding of how energy and electricity is at the heart of the healing process. And we spotlight unique modalities and new technologies that can aid you in increasing the human condition, namely vibration and your energy flow. 5 amazing classes, kicking it off with Peter and Ursula Schnell from Litos Crystals with their incredible talk on the metaphysical healing modalities. And I'll be delivering a workshop on ancient arts and quantum physics. An amazing night. Don't miss it. Night number 2 will bring our very good friend, Professor George Grant, talking about energy medicine. Class 3 is our Vastu Energy Workshop, and you can learn more details about Vastu at our sister podcast, Vastu Secrets. Class number 4 brings life frequency to life in our Frequency Matters lecture from Dr. Marcel Wolf. And of course, we'll be talking more about light energy on class number 4. Class number 5 is our good friends Angela and Ray Shim from Heart Sense Purpose as they talk about ancient essential oils. And I'll be talking more about essential mud packing, the art of the ancients. So that is all happening at Life Frequencies, and you can get details and tickets at eventbrite.com and just key into the search menu Life Frequency Classes. And of course, our big event of the year is the National Conference of Traditional Healing, featuring the Legends of Health. Over 30 health experts and influencers and leaders in the natural, traditional, and alternative health worlds will descend on Toronto, Canada on April 30th, May 1, 2, and 3. We'll have over 30 lectures taking place over the weekend, 24 workshops for you to take part in, 5 full-day classes for professionals, and 3 mini-summits within the conference, including World Healing Night, of course, the Holistic Diabetes Solution Summit Live, and of course our primer on cancer prevention. Just some of the names that you'll experience: T. Colin Campbell, Brian and Anna Maria Clement, Ralph Moss, Jackie Harvey, Mindy Blackstein, Jeffrey Kippel, Dr. Daryl Wolf, Dr. Sheila McKenzie, Dr. Akbar Khan, Dr. Gerald Smith, Master Francisco Quintero, Andrea Donsky, Professor George Grant, Ursula and Peter Chanel, Dr. Stanley Nye, Dr. Marcel Wolf, Tony Hornick, Angela Shim, Sharon Walsh, Lynn Himmelin, Cheryl Anofsky, Dr. Gabriel Cousins, Dr. Tim Holton, Dr. Leon Trigger, and so many more. Get your tickets over at eventbrite.com in the Toronto area listings for the National Conference of Traditional Healing, listed under the Legends of Health. I'll leave a detailed link here in the liner notes of the Ancient Arts podcast. Let's dive into today's episode. Sunlight. Our friend or enemy? Perhaps the real story behind sunlight. So there's been a lot written on whether sunlight causes cancer. But there's an excellent book written by Dr. Zane Kim, spelled K-I-M-E, M-D, which reports on many of the scientific studies demonstrating sunlight's beneficial effects on lowering cholesterol, helping with blood pressure, blood sugar, how it can increase your endurance, increase the sex hormone levels, bring up your immunity, and even promote weight loss. Although skin cancer is the result of many factors, Dr. Kim reveals that it is not sunlight alone that leads to skin cancer. He shows that reaction of sunlight with toxic dietary chemicals in the skin, especially from the consumption of bad fats, can lead to skin cancer. He also shows in his amazing research how consuming a diet rich in key nutrients such as antioxidants can protect against toxic sunlight reactions, as well as allowing us to absorb the full spectrum of the healing wavelengths that are naturally present in sunlight. You know, cancer was once a very rare disease. In the middle of today's cancer epidemic, it's difficult to remember a time when cancer was a rare disease affecting less than 1% of the population. Today's statistics predict that 1 out of 3 could develop cancer. Some of the healthiest, long life cultures in the world, such as the Hunzas and the Vilcababas, live at high elevation where sunlight is much more intense than that found at sea level. These people typically spend many long hours outside every day, especially farming. Yet they have traditionally lived to very old ages without getting any form of cancers. Their cultures also have diets rich in whole foods, grown without chemicals or polluted waters. Unnatural bad fats such as margarines are simply unknown to them. So studies show that an increase of cancer in the 6 to 10 times are lower near the equator, where sunlight is the strongest and where civilized diets with its bad fats, chemicalized foods are very rare. People who eat close to the earth and have consistently daily exposure to the sun are much less likely to develop skin cancers such as melanoma than city folk who are inside all day, getting very little sunlight exposure and eating perhaps poorer diets. So is there a connection, sunlight and nutrients? Is there a connection? For those who have a steady diet of, let's say, restaurant food, if you will, or standard American diet, which guarantees a constant food chemical exposure, the result is poor nutritional status in the body. For these folks, sunlight can trigger free radical formation and skin damage that may often lead to skin cancer later in life. Free radicals can cause skin to age prematurely and cause it to wrinkle and sunburn, which can damage the DNA and can cause skin lesions. In contrast, research has shown that diets rich in key nutrients such as good oils and antioxidants can help protect the skin against aging and sunlight damage. Antioxidants such as carotenes can reduce the risk of cancer, including skin cancer, and help prevent DNA damage that can lead to degenerative diseases. Carotenes, a class of compounds found in many plants, can help reduce the free radical activity that causes damage and premature aging of cells. Carotene are being called nature's sun umbrella, since they are used up during exposure to sunlight. One's dietary supply must be adequate to provide continuous protection. Unfortunately, few of us get adequate amounts of the antioxidants such as carotene because of a lack of fresh fruits and vegetables in our diet. Dr. Kim finds that we are blaming the sun for problems that are really caused by poor diets, which lead to toxic sunlight reactions such as skin cancer. For example, one study showed a 700% increase in skin cancers in people who ate bad fats and created a toxic reaction in their skin from the sunlight. Trans fatty acids, such as, example, margarines, have been proven to be so harmful that they can even found to be banned in several European countries. What about sunscreens? There's a lot of controversy. A few decades of sunscreen use has not stopped the increased rates in skin cancer. In fact, since chemicals in sunscreen can be sometimes carcinogenic, in other words, cancer-producing, when exposed to sunlight, the use of toxic sunscreens may be part of the problem. Researchers at the University of Pennsylvania found that so-called broad-spectrum sunscreens do not protect against the full spectrum of the sun's rays, including ultraviolet. Ultraviolet radiation consists over 100 different frequencies. Sunscreen does not protect against all of these frequencies, especially when you have been eating a lot of bad fats and a lot of bad oils. Worst yet, researchers are confused as to which of the sun rays are beneficial and which are not. This is because few researchers have made the connection between poor diet and the harmful effects of sunlight. As Dr. Kim points out, if one person has good nutrient status, the sun rays may be beneficial. However, if another person has poor nutritional status, the same sun exposure and same sun frequencies may be harmful. Using sunscreen can create a false sense of security when you're in the sun and may actually increase the risks of skin damage. Researchers at MD Anderson Cancer Centers in Houston point out there is no substantial evidence that sunscreens protect against any of the forms of skin cancer. Dr. Robin Marks, a dermatologist and professor at the University of Melbourne, finds relying on synthetic chemicals to prevent cancer is not the answer. Dr. Arthur Rhodes, a University of Pittsburgh dermatologist, concluded that sunscreens appear weakly effective or ineffective at preventing certain types of skin cancer. Judging from the original blueprint for a human, we were clearly designed to receive sunlight regularly for good health. In fact, worldwide research shows that sunlight is absolutely essential for good health. Dr. Kim points out that sunlight is not harmful to healthy people who have adequate amounts of nutrients such as antioxidants and healthy essential fatty acids. It also appears that it was intended for most of us to get our vitamin D from the sun, since vitamin D is almost absent in our vegetable food supply. When sunlight strikes the skin, it sets off a multi-stage process where cholesterol is ultimately changed into vitamin D. Vitamin D is essential for the utilization of calcium and for collagen formation to build healthy bones. Lack of sunlight is particularly responsible for epidemic of osteoporosis, especially in older people. Osteoporosis is severe bone loss that can lead to terrible joint and bone pain. And it can also cause fractures and, of course, the humping of the back. One study found that 36% of elderly men and 47% of elderly women were critically deficient in vitamin D. Even moderate sun exposure, including indirect sunlight, can help to alleviate a lot of this problem. However, sunlight through window glass will not activate the same amount of vitamin D synthesis. What about sunlight and eye health? All of life developed and flourished under the sun. Without sunlight, life could not exist. For the best eye health, the retina needs the whole spectrum of the solar radiation. Sunlight absorbed by the retina of the eye is very important for the skin and the whole body nutrient. Research shows that sunlight frequencies entering the eye are dispersed to every organ, gland in the body system. Wearing glasses or contacts, especially tinted lenses, can screen out the important frequencies that are critical to good health. However, if you currently have poor nutrient status, you may need to temporarily avoid direct sunlight exposure until you can improve your nutrient status. Good nutrients and sunlight. If you're a cave dweller like we tend to be here in North America, inside all day with little sunlight exposure, eating mostly at restaurants or standard American diet, you're going to lose a lot of your key nutrients. Switch to a healthy diet rich in fruits and vegetables and begin using sun protection and a good, healthy kit called the Superfood Trio, which contains calcium, magnesium, and trace minerals from natural sources, healthy fats and healthy oils and essential fatty acids, and of course the amazing grass mixes like barley and oat grasses and wheat grasses. After you've been using all of these powerful nutrients to build up your nutrient status, you'll want to start slowly to build up your sun time, if you will. First, begin sitting outside in the shade, such as a porch, for 5 or 10 minutes without direct exposure to the sun. And then you can slowly start to get the beneficial radiation of the sun, but it's not the direct sun exposure that you want to be starting with. Sitting behind a glass or metal screen will not work. Gradually build up to about an hour of outside daily exposure. Some experts claim that at least 1 hour of unfiltered, and keyword unfiltered, sunlight per day is essential to health, longevity. And of course, you can also get indirect sunlight exposure, especially if you are not in perfect nutrient status. These are some interesting facts and some interesting studies which have been done to show the benefits of this simple ancient art called sunbathing and sun exposure. And isn't it interesting that some of the most healthy things that we can do cost us the least amount of money? The ancients knew these fabulous techniques. All we had to do was re-listen